Near mint condition, the home of collected editions. And check out that eye, that's exactly what we want to see. Woo, look at that panel, baby. And that, as they say, is that. How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today's video is a little bit different. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of these wonderful collections from the world of magnetic press. So, let's go ahead and do this together. Welcome back, everybody. The first thing I want to do is thank the folks at Magnetic Press for sending us copies of these collections. This is kind of the lineup of some of the most recent crowdfunding books that they've done. And of course, some of these are available through retailers too, because they do offer like a retailer tier. But all of these have been fully funded, and I've done several interviews with them. I just had one come up recently talking about the Shin Zero current crowdfunding book that two of my favorite creators have done. Some of these I have read already, but this is a new beautiful format for each and every one of these, and then most of these I have not read. So unlike most of my overviews, I'm actually going to be flipping through here and trying to find out exactly what the books are, and then of course showcasing the different type of formats they come in, because that's the beauty of Magnetic Press, is they do such an amazing job with presentation while making each and every one of them look special in their own unique way. So let's actually start today with the let's do the Midnight Order. Let's look at that book first. All right, so this is the Midnight Order by Matthew Bablé, and it comes in this slipcase edition. That's the spine of the slipcase, and then this side right here with this beautiful gold foil frame around it. Midnight Order. 619 is the original French company that produced it. Forgot to mention that this is an actual metallic like coin that you can pop out. I don't know if I would or not. It's very similar to that of the Scrooge McDuck collection from Fantagraphics that they did. And this is what the book looks like right here. So some of these are like available as retail copies like this. And very similar to the Magnetic Press way, they have the round edges right there. Oh, love the edging. That's beautiful. I love when they do that. And I love that more and more books are doing that. We'll do a flip through now then. Let's do a proper flip through and see a little bit of the artwork. All right, let's go ahead and open this up. Oh my gosh, look at those beautiful inchies. First time I'm opening it up, by the way. And it looks like there's your title page and introduction here about witchcraft and how the Midnight Order was born, it looks like, between the 15th and 17th century. Your chapter breaks. So the story and art looks like it's all done by Matthew Bablé. And then some of it is done by Ngoy Mandia. Some of the art is done by Claire Favul. So layouts, Florent Madoux. So it's not just Matthew working on this book. So this book is about witches, it seems like, and how there's this order that was formed called the Midnight Order. It's an organization that grew through generations into this secret globe spanning of organization of agents who protect humanity from unknown demonic forces that could end the world if left unchecked. You know what? That did not come up with that. Okay, that is definitely a different art. That is actually the description of the book. I try not to read descriptions of books because I like to read things myself. I am one. Oh, cool. Looks like in between chapters to kind of give you a introduction to the different witches that they're fighting. So anyway, yeah, that's something that I do. Like, I never, yes, a ribbon, bookmark ribbon. I never even read the back of the books. I like to read things for myself because I want to be surprised as to what I'm reading about. And even flipping through books, like when I do my haul videos, it's almost a sin to me, but I know people like looking at the artwork, and I completely respect my viewers, so that's what I'm doing now. I have no idea. That is... Ooh, I'm getting some Masamu Shiro vibes right there from Tank Police. Actually, anime vibes. But then again, Matthew Bladé is a big fan of anime, so you could completely see it in his artwork. He's the gentleman that did Carbon and Silicon with Adrastea and Shangri-La. Those are some of the books that you've seen his art, and I love his stuff. It stands out, but it's just amazing, and definitely deserves to be one of those household names. This one does have different art styles. This book itself has 272 pages. Let me see if there's anything extra in the back besides, like, maybe the witches stuff. Let's see, the Midnight Files. So it's about an order that goes and fights witches. That's what this is. And it is sewn binding, and the paper stock is this thick matte paper stock that they're using. On Mars, this is by Sylvain Runberg. On Mars, this is by Sylvain Runberg, and Grun is the artist. And this one is really cool because it's another slipcase. However, we'll look at the books here in a second. This actually looks like a wood block. Like, it feels like wood, but it isn't. It's like really thick cardboard. It's sturdy as heck, but it feels like a wood block. There's the magnetic press logo, and then you have Sylvain Runberg, Grun, On Mars, A New World, plus the designs, Mars, and then the map. I love maps, and even inside there's patterns. Now, the book itself, there's two of them. There's the On Mars, A New World, and then the design Mars, which I assume is kind of like the behind the scenes, and then the spines of the books, and then, of course, the backs of the books right here. So let's actually look at the main book and look at a little bit of the On Mars design. This also has a silver foil right there, and anything that says On Mars. All right, opening this book up, there's your end sheets, and let's look here, and maps right there. Sylvain Runberg and Grun, the artist, On Mars. So this is all set in the year 2132, and life on Earth has reached the limits of sustainability. So now we have colonized what planet? You guessed it, Mars. That's all I will say about it, because that's all I want to know about it. Let's look at this artwork here by Grun. And I love the tones that they're using, the color tones that they're using. Of course, when you're talking about Mars, you have to talk, or you have to give it like a reddish tone to it. Although I don't know if that's going to be the only color we see. I just dig it. A lot of these French comics, man, they kind of remind me of not just European comics, not just Euro comics, but anime and manga, just in the style that they do them in. And I always tell people, if you've never read a Euro comic, it's a different experience than reading an American comic. And I say that even in the way that the story is done and the way that it's edited. Sometimes you can, like, the art looks European, but the story may not feel like it until you start reading it, and you're like, I feel like I'm missing something. That happens quite often, and it took me a while to get used to it, but I love it now, man. Some of my favorite books, Meta Barons and Incal and Bouncer. One day we're going to get that Blueberry. So this is what the art looks like, and it looks like a bunch of colonizers on Mars not getting along. And let's look at the extra. Actually, this looks like it is a fold out. Oh, it's the map. Oh, that's cool. And on the other side. Okay. That's why the end sheets are the map. Let's look at the design on Mars. This is the other book that comes in the slipcase, and there's your end sheets. Technically, I would not be looking at this, but I'm giving you a preview. I like to look at this stuff after I've read the stories. Part 1, A New World. So it looks like our main protagonist right there. Sketches and concept art. This right here is printed in thick glossy paper stock, and the main book has glued binding, and it's printed in a similar paper stock too. So they're printed in this thicker glossy paper stock. This looks like a journal, so yeah, that's enough of that. So this book has a total of 160 pages, and the design book is a total of 64 pages. When I opened up the box, I didn't realize it was Magnetic Press sending me anything, and this is the very first thing I opened up, and I thought, oh, I don't remember ordering a limited edition anime Blu-ray or 4K, but no, this is a beautiful slipcase. It is purple and clear, and it comes with 2 books. So it's just a purple slipcase, very nice. One side you have Lost Letters, and then the other side you have My Dear Perot. And this is by Jim Bishop, so you have Lost Letters over here, and then you've got My Dear Perot over here. And let's look at the spines of the books. I think this one here is the one that gave me the anime vibes. I thought it was like the limited edition 5 centimeters per second. And then it is a young adult book. Just awesome to see. All right, let's crack these open. Here we have both books. Lost Letters, My Dear Perot. So let's look at My Dear Perot first and check out what this looks like. There's your end sheets, My Dear Perot, and the begin. Oh, there's no introduction. There are thank yous over here on the left-hand side. And this book, again, is available through retailers, just the books themselves. So this is about Clea, a young noblewoman who is groomed for a promising future with Berthier, the son of a count. And it should be a comfortable life, but what she truly wants is fate introduces her to Perot, a charming street magician who sweeps her off her feet. And oh my gosh, am I getting Studio Ghibli vibes from this book. This is beautiful. I wonder if Lost Letters is like that. But anyway, that is the pitch for this book right here. And definitely some Studio Ghibli vibes. Loving these colors, man. This book is printed. The paper stock isn't as thick as the first book, the On Mars, or I'm sorry, Midnight Order, but it is still thick. But it is matte paper stock. Let's look and see if there's anything in the. Nope, nothing in the back. Just your end sheets and looking at the binding right there, which is sewn binding. And let's look at Lost Letters. It's another one by Jim Bishop. And looking at the art in here, looking just like My Dear Perot. And there are acknowledgements over here and thank yous. And this is about an island where humans and fish coexist. There is a young Iode, which is short for iodine, waits patiently for a letter he has been expecting. One that seems to be perpetually delayed. And suspecting it might have gotten lost, he takes a trip into town to inquire at the post office. Along the way, he meets a spirited hitchhiker who has been entrusted to deliver a mysterious package by the enigmatic underworld syndicate, the Octopus. Wow, it feels so weird doing an overview now. Oh, that's awesome. The designs are so cool. It feels so weird doing an overview of a book I have not read. That is just so weird because I'm so used to reading. But this is more of an unboxing. This book, again, is printed in the same paper stock. And let's look at the binding. Sewn binding, 200 pages. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that My Dear Perot has a total of 264 pages. Next up, we have Frontier. This is by one of my favorite artists and comic book creators, and that is Guillaume Sangelun. And I know I am butchering that name like I always have. I found his art. He's a French comic creator. He's the one that did the PTSD, which I've featured on my channel. And if you don't know what it is, then I'm not doing my job properly. I need to bring it back. It's been about 7 years since I've talked about that book. But this is the one that he worked on last year, and we're going to look at it together. The color reminds me of like cyberpunk a little bit. And it looks like a video game or vinyl. I love that strip going down the middle right there. And they have silver foil and Frontier right there. And much like the other books, it is a flat spine, and it does have the silver edging right there. So let's actually go ahead and open it up because I haven't looked at it, and I think this is the one that I'm most excited to read for the first time. Okay, let's get this book opened. Oh, yes, the designs of the dolphin right here. And in the back is the back part of it. And Frontier, Explore, Expand, Escape. Sangelun, story design and colors. So everything seems to be done by Guillaume Sangelun. And this is in Thorsmork Indie Discovery Research Center. Gosh, I love his artwork. If you're not familiar with it, he's the one that did PTSD, and oh, it's so good. So, the pitch for this one is, after 10 years designing and developing the next generation of exo-archaeological probes, scientist Ji Su is sidelined from her own project in a buyout by a megacorporation called Energy Solution. Her attitude earns her a string of reassignments that ultimately land her on the Rockbreaker, an asteroid mining colony in orbit around Vespa. There, her first time in space, she discovers just how complex life can be. And that's all I want to see about it, but just look at this artwork, look at the colors, look at the panel layout. It is just amazing. This is the one I'm most excited to read, just because I'm familiar with his work. Yeah, I'm also familiar with Matthew Blai's work and George Bess, but there's just something special about it that just gives me that anime feel from not like nowadays, but like the 80s and 90s is what I see every time I open one of his books. And huge fan of his work. I know they've done other Kickstarters. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, MFK, I think, is the collection that they've done recently with his work. But this is the art style you're going to be seeing in here. These are the kind of character designs, and I mentioned the plot a little bit. Let's see, in the back, is there any... Yes, we do have some extras. I'm not sure if the Kickstarter goodies had, like, extras like stickers or anything, but this comes with some character designs and some behind the scenes and the progress. I want to say that this was released in France in 2023 and then came through Kickstarter here in America in 2024. 200 pages, let's look at. That binding, sewn binding, and there's that eye. And it comes with a bookmark ribbon. Just realize how fast my overviews would be when I don't read books. I can just read the synopsis. It's like doing a book report in school and reading the back of the book. 4th grade Omar would have been proud. 47-year-old Omar trying to raise his kids right? Not so much. And again, it's got that silver edging right there. Ooh, love it. Last but certainly not least is one that I am familiar with, and that is because I'm a huge fan of George Bess, and that is Bram Stoker's Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and Victor Hugo's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And this is a huge slipcase, and I thought they had done one already that featured, this is really cool, by the way. It's got a die cut right there with the casket. And then in the back here is Dracula. And inside there's even a pattern on both sides. Very, very freaking cool that they do that. But let's look at the books. Here we have Dracula, and then we have Frankenstein. Same kind of framing around each book's, just a different color. And then the Hunchback of Notre Dame and George's Bess. No, I'm mispronouncing that. And they all have a foil around them too. And then these are the kind of books that you'll see at retail right there. The slipcase, I think, was a exclusive to the Kickstarter. So what I'm going to do is open up, let's do Dracula, then Frankenstein, and then the latest one, which is that Hunchback book. Let's actually look inside of each of these books. All right, opening up Dracula first. Dracula. Now, when I said that I'm familiar with these, I have not read these either. I just know the Bram Stoker's Dracula. I've read oh my gosh, Bess's artwork is so good. These are done all in black and white, by the way. This one has a total of 224 pages, and it's 9 by 12. So much like the other books that they put out. And it is an adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which we've seen before, right? It does have an epilogue, apparently, that adapts Bram Stoker's, Stoker's, what is it called? The Dracula's Guess, which is believed to be the original novel's deleted first chapter. So let's actually, I'm curious about that. So here we go. First published in 1914, after Bram Stoker's death, his wife Florence published a collection of short stories, including Dracula's Guess. And so they put this in the back because it's kind of like the pilot, I guess. Very cool that they adapted that too. And then just showcasing some of the internal artwork. So an adaptation of the novel, not the movies or, I guess, the TV show. This one has a total of 224 pages. The black and white artwork printed in this thick matte paper stock. It does have a bookmark ribbon, and it has sewn binding. Now let's look at Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And Again, an adaptation of Mary Shelley's work. It's funny because Chris, who's one of the fine folks at Magnetic Press, when I interviewed him and Mike Kennedy, he said that Mary Shelley's work is what really, really inspired him to be a reader and a comic book reader. Now working, he has worked at different publishing companies and now working at Magnetic Press, telling his own stories. So this is an adaptation again by George Bess, and this one has 204 pages. If not familiar with the idea of Frankenstein, it's about a scientist and bringing this creature back to life, and it's Frankenstein's monster. And I know you've heard it, you've seen the movies. I want to say my very first anime I watched outside of Captain Future and Captain Harlock and Marco in Peru was an adaptation of Marvel's Tomb of Dracula and the Frankenstein's monster story. And let me see if there's anything extra in this one here. This one looks a little bit... I wonder if it's meant to be on purpose. No, okay, maybe it's just the lighting. Looks a little lighter. Let's see. So nothing really extra in the back. Just that and your end sheets. This one has a total of 204 pages. Let's look at the bookmark ribbon. And 204 pages. And broken down into chapters, much like the book, of course. So let's look at the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame. This one has 200 pages. There's your title page. This one by Georges Bess and Pia Bess. And in France. So again, an adaptation of the book, not the movies or the Disney movie. This one, I remember having to read... I was trying to guess the other ones when I read them for the first time. I know this one here was my sophomore year in high school. I had to read it. And I want to say it was before... Yeah, it was definitely before the adaptation. Because sophomore year was when Lion King came out. No, that was the freshman year going into sophomore year summer. And then after Lion King... Oh my gosh. It goes Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King... What was the movie after Lion King? Maybe it was Hunchback. Maybe we knew about it. But anyway, why am I even talking about that? Anyway, the book was a lot different. A lot different. There are a lot of things that end up happening, and Esmeralda isn't like the way that she's written in the animated movie. But this is what... Oh my gosh, the artwork is just so beautiful. I am so happy that they decided to make it black and white, because he just has this control of the contrast. Man, he's so good. And again, I think the paper stock was the right decision, because there is this whole world of collected editions where there's some misconception that the glossy paper stock is the top tier paper stock when it comes to collections and books, and that is not the case. There's some classy nudity in here, and then of course, if it's like the book, there's some stuff that unfortunately characters go through here. So what I was going to say is, yeah, so the matte paper stock really absorbs these blacks, so it makes the contrast look even greater. And just to check on the back here, we do have a couple of little extras. And then about the artist, about Georges Bess, who currently lives in Paris, and then the end sheet. So let's look at the binding. 200 pages sewn binding, and again printed in this thick matte paper stock. And that's it. That, as they say, is... Wait, am I going to go through all these? I guess I am. Is that. If you're interested in purchasing the retail version of any of these books, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my unboxing of these wonderful books. Some of them I have read, some of them I've never even heard of, and I cannot wait. Actually, as we're speaking, I'm going to open up that Frontier book and start just just reading it. I'm a huge fan of the creator. So yes, leave in the comments down below what your favorite magnetic press release has been, what you are currently crowdfunding that they're doing, or whether you just get the retail versions because you're a big fan of what they put out. But that's it, everybody. Thank you again to Magnetic Press for sending us copies of these books. Everyone stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.